Footy is back tomorrow. Can you bloody believe it? So to celebrate the fact that we are about 24 hours away from the season officially kicking off, let's lock in some predictions, shall we? Let's go. Now, we've got some regular ones, we've got some wacky ones, and I've even got something random in here as well. So let's get into it. Let's start with the Coleman Medal, and I am locking in Nick Larkey for this award. I just think North Melbourne's kids, and their ever-aging young guys as well, like your Luke Davies-Uniacke, who are certainly not old, but compared to the guys that they've been bringing in for the last couple of seasons, already seems like a midfield vet, which is crazy, given the fact that he hasn't even hit his prime yet, and if that's not scary, I don't know what is. He's surely got to get some kind of help down there, but if he can do what he did last year in such a bad team, and maybe we don't think that North are going to be as bad this year, surely that means it goes up, yeah, or at least stays consistent, and Charlie's not going to have the opportunity to kick the big bags he did last year as well, so why the hell wouldn't he? Let's lock in the Suva. The rising star, I've gone with Colby McKercher, so double North to get us started. If you're thinking to yourself, Daz, what about Harley Reid? What about Riley Sanders? What about Darcy Wilson? What about Caleb Windsor? What about these guys? What about Elijah Sartis? You spoke about him so highly in the preseason. Yes, you're 100% right. I did do that, especially about Elijah. And simply put, with more time comes more information, comes seeing these guys more, comes a change of opinion. That's the way that the world works. I just love Colby so much. That role with North is going to be so good. His pinpoint accurate kicking is going to be so good, and I think he's going to get better and better as the year goes on. So he is going to have that patch of form in the second half of the year, maybe post-bye. Well, I think he can go to another level and secure that rising star. But I honestly can't disagree with anyone when you give me a rising star pick. They all make sense, seemingly. So fingers crossed, hey? Going to go to the All-Australian captain in this spot, and I'm going to go with Marcus Bontempelli. It's a cheat, I know, but you can basically lock him into this spot if he plays more than 20 games in any season. So I'm going to do that and lock him in to this spot. He's just a freak. He's everything that you want in a midfielder. I'm still not 100% sure where I've got the Dogs this year, but I'll reveal the top 8 a little bit later on. But I just think that if the Bont is fit enough, he's good enough, he's going to be the All-Australian captain. I don't really have a better explanation other than if he's not the best player in the competition, he's second, maybe third at worst. And of the other two guys that are in consideration, especially in my mind, only one other is a captain, which is Max Gawn. Flip a coin, I'm going Bont. To the Brownlow medal, and I'm going with Nick Dacos. Boring answer, I know, because he's the favourite, but he's the favourite for a reason, guys. If he played every game last year, he'd already have a Brownlow medal, and the fact that he didn't win it, I think he's going to spur him on to win it, and it is going to be awesome. Do I think he's going to break any kind of voting records? I'm going to go with no, because putting pressure on a guy to deliver a Brownlow medal winning season is already quite crazy, but to expect him to do it with the most votes in Brownlow history is just batshit to me. So I'm not going to put that pressure on him, but considering he's, a third-year player, I think he's the third-year player, if not fourth. Third-year player, same as Jason Horne-Francis, that's the same draft, so, extraordinary that we've put in these expectations on him. Even more extraordinary that, if he's not your pick, it's because you're going for someone different. He's the favourite for a reason. The sky's the limit for this guy, seriously. It's just, he's good at football. I want to do a prediction here. I'm going to call it a best and fairest Smokey here. So a best and fairest winner that maybe might come out of the blue. Now, I didn't think this was a big call until I spoke to some people whose footy opinions really matter, and they seemed shocked, so I thought it was good enough to put into this video. Josh Dunkley is going to win the best and fairest at the Brisbane Lions this year. That is my Smokey BNF pick. Not only has he done it before, obviously, at the Western Bulldogs, but Lachie Neale's just won the Brownlow. He's going to need to be at that form again to go again. Harris Andrews won it last year without Lachie Neale, taking it home in a Brownlow season. Dunkley is an absolute star. Brisbane are going to need to maintain their level. So even though the umpires last year didn't really give a shit about his performances, which probably goes to show that the Brownlow system may need a little bit of an update, but yeah, it shocked a few people who are in this space, so let's put it out there. and I really like the pick as well. So Josh Dunkley is my Smokey best and fairest winner, and if you've got one for your club or another club, comment down below. I'd love to know who your Smokey best and fairest picks are. Next up, I'm going to do a trade lock, a guy who is guaranteed to be traded and who I think, or where I think he is going to end up. And I'm going to go with Bailey Smith is going to be at Collingwood next year. Given how midfield heavy this draft is, and Collingwood are not going to have a pick where the guys are likely to go in the early point in this draft. You think of your Finn O'Sullivans, your Sid Drapers, well, Levi Ashcroft's going to Brisbane anyway, you would think. So that'll go there. Jagger Smith, Josh Smiley. I've probably forgotten one or two other guys in that main group as well, so apologies to them, but I am going off the dome here. And we are still in March. The draft stuff doesn't start till April, so don't stress about that at all. But I think Baz Lenker, Nick Dacos as your 1-2 punch in a Collingwood midfield for the future is just extraordinary. Collingwood don't like drafting a tall forward anyway, so why the hell are they going to do it this year? Although I secretly reckon that this is going to be a really good key forward draft. There are at least 3 prospects in that key forward position that I really like. But this is Collingwood. Who would they rather? Of course, you would go get Bailey Smith for whatever it costs. You're probably going to need to do some finagling, and I know Geelong are going to push for him really hard as well. But, you know, if you are going to leave and you want to go to a club with success, the Pies window is firmly open. Geelong's is not. And just something a little bit random that I wanted to bring into this prediction video as well. And I'm going to say that Isaac Rankin is going to win Goal of the Year this year. I just think he can pull something out of the hat, probably at the Adelaide Oval circa Eddie Betts, and just deliver that little piece of magic that brings him the Goal of the Year. So I'm not going to go I'm not going to go too in depth, Jesus, on this one. It's something random, something that I wanted to throw out there. So Isaac Rankin, Goal of the Year, as my little something random here. I went to YouTube and asked you guys to give me a category that I could do a prediction to or give an answer to, and I really liked this one about who I think is going to be vested the most. Now, I'm going to talk about this in the subbing on style, so the green vest, if you will, and I think I'm going to go to the Hawks, and I'm going to go with Cam Mackenzie in this spot, because I think when Will Day comes back, Cam's fresh legs and ultra good ball use is going to be a dual weapon for the Hawks, and unless it's Mitch Lewis who goes down with injury, the Hawks are going to be covered one way or another. I think Marbior Chol would take over the ruck duties, the number one ruck duties, if Ned Reeves went down, and Lloyd Meek obviously wasn't playing. I mean, Cam Mackenzie's not going to be able to cover a Sicily or an Ethan Phillips going down in the game, but you don't really make your sub a key defender unless it's Jimmy Blank against the Saints last year for reasons that still don't make any friggin' sense to me. What a shit fright that game was. Holy smokes. But in terms of the most vested player, I think once Will Day comes back, I think Cam Mackenzie could be the man who finds the vest the most in 2024. And I really like this one on Twitter as well, and you can follow me on Twitter at ReeseKnight8 if you want to. That's KNIGHT. But which team will have the biggest free kick differential in the league? And I'm going to go positive and negative here. I think the positive free kick differential is just going to be the Bulldogs, because, I mean, I copped free kick Hawthorn for a decade, and we never won the free kick count all that much, not from a season-long sample point. So, you know, Bulldogs fans, you've won a flag more recently than my team, so, you know, you don't need to get too offended. In that case, who I think could give away a lot of free kicks this year, I'm going to trust the coach instead of the club here, and think the Gold Coast are going to be the team that have the worst free kick differential. With the way that Dimmer likes to play the game with this pressurised style, tackles aren't really as rewarded as I think they should be in the competition. And hey, who knows? So Gold Coast for me maybe is a Smokey for my negative free kick differential. But let's get to the top 8 and my premiership pick. Now, normally when you do top 8 predictions, we know historically that 3 teams usually drop out and 3 come in. We know that. I know that. I knew that putting this top 8 together. And instead of taking 3 cards out of the deck, if you will, shuffling them into the pack and drawing 3 more, I've shuffled the teams that were in the 8 last year, and I've only made 1 change. So here is my top 8 for 2024. Now, you could get into the comments and tell me it's the worst top 8 you've seen so far predicted. I would probably agree with you. You could tell me it's the best. I'd probably agree with you. With how even the competition is, my only faith here is those top 3 teams. Of course, I'm banking on Adelaide being that team that breaches the top 4 from outside of the 8 from last year. But if you told me anyone from 4 to 8th all don't make the finals, I would believe you. Only one of them make the finals, I would believe you. Now, is that me going for a cop-out in saying that, if these don't work out, don't blame me? No. Hold me accountable, and if you like my content, stick with me when I get things right, stick with me when I get things wrong, because I'll always explain myself. But these clubs in particular, to me, have something that I think the clubs underneath them struggle with a touch, and that is structure over substance. And that means that when the game is going against these teams and they're at full strength, I back them in to halt momentum more than a Bulldogs, a Gold Coast, an Essendon, a Sydney even, although I'm a little bit worried about that in regards to the Swannies. So, yeah, that is my top 8 prediction, and how I feel about it is a bit like my Supercoach Classic team, which is gross. In terms of who I think is going to win the flag, it would be really easy to say it's going to be another Collingwood and Brisbane grand final. It's going to be pretty easy to say that it's going to be a Collingwood GWS grand final. These 3 teams are playing it out, but I am going to go with Collingwood and Brisbane again, not because it was last year and it was easy, but just because I think these 2 teams, both structurally and with substance and with their home ground advantages during the year, are just going to be the best teams to watch. Is it the sexiest pick? No. The result could be, though. Brisbane beat Collingwood in the 2024 grand final by 6 goals, is my prediction. Take it to the bank. Just please don't gamble on it, because once we start putting money on things that I say, they go to shit. So just accept it and enjoy it for the entertainment that it is. But there are some of my predictions for 2024, guys. Footy is back tomorrow. If you want your short, sharp, and up-to-date content, you can go to TikTok and find me at Daz Talks Footy. That would be awesome. But of course, we are going live Sunday. What is Sunday? I think it's the 10th of March after opening round to discuss all things opening round, and then of course you're going to get your 2 videos a week from me as the season starts. So fingers crossed you can join me for that. So if you like the video, subscribe to join the Daz Talks Footy family. I hope you're enjoying the semi-new look with the bigger lights, better lights, and all those things, or maybe you're not noticing at all, because what do you care about lighting? I have no idea. But enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Enjoy opening round, whether your team is playing or not. It is a completely stupid concept and I hate it, but I'm just glad footy's back. I hope you are too. See you guys.